Violett regains consciousness on the floor of a dark living room. A man slowly goes downstairs as she crawls with all her might on the floor. He comes closer and, threatening her with a gun, accuses her of what he has done. There is hatred in the girl's eyes. The man sees this and hands her the gun, offering to shoot him. She aims, and we find ourselves in a bright room where the recent victim is already in the role of a psychologist talking to a client online. The girl is working with a patient in an abusive situation. After a successful meeting, the psychologist receives a message from an acquaintance, Henry. The photo shows a pleasant man in dark glasses. The woman is in no hurry to respond. Her thoughts are so tense that even a simple laborer who came to read the meters frightens the psychologist. Violett is mom to 6-year-old Toby. Today she is going on a date, the first one in a long time, which is strange for a pretty woman like her. Mother and son are having fun when Violett's sister, Jen, comes to visit. She has to stay with the child while his mom dines at a high-end restaurant in a bird's-eye view. Jen criticizes Violett's outfit from the doorstep, and the sisters retire to the bedroom to find a suitable dress. The girl doubts whether to go to the meeting, but Jen convinces her that not all men are like her ex-husband. Before leaving, she jokingly reminds her that there are hidden cameras in the flat, so the sister must put Toby to bed on time. Violett looks fine and is very worried. She enters the skyscraper lift and immediately receives a message from Henry saying that he is coming 10 minutes late. He offers to wait for him at the bar and have the most expensive drink. Staring at her smartphone, the girl bumps into the man and drops the phone. The man picks it up, apologizing for the inconvenience. While waiting for Henry, she texts her sister, worrying how her son is doing. During her casual conversation with the bartender, she is distracted time and again by men. A pianist with an oddity, and a funny older man who has come on a blind date. Her sister doesn't answer, so Violett sends her another message. At this time, she receives an image drop request from an unknown caller. The woman looks around and presses the "refuse to accept." Immediately, she receives a new request with a meme, which immediately makes the girl nervous. But at that moment, Henry appears, and Violett turns her attention to him. The waiter accompanies the couple to a table, and both are visibly nervous. During the first conversation, the man shows himself as an attentive and caring person. He remembers his sister's name and even brings a gift for Violett's son in honor of their recent move to Chicago. The woman continues to receive picture requests, which she shares with Henry. The man manages to turn it into a joke, and the pair have fun looking for the sender while discussing people at neighboring tables. Drops keep coming, and at one point, Violett receives an incoming message. The stranger advises her to watch the video from her home security cameras. On one of them, the woman sees a man in a black mask with a gun who is in her living room right now. Anonymous informs her that he is observing what is going on in the restaurant. He forbids her to leave the establishment. Moreover, no one, not even her friend, should guess that the girl has something wrong. Terrified, she goes out to the bathroom, on the way bumping into the same man again who helped to pick up her phone. He sees the worry on Violett's face and asks if everything is all right, to which he hears a confident "yes" in reply. In the toilet, a girl tries to ask for help, but instantly receives a message to keep quiet. Violett finds a listening device on a flower pot, and she notices the same device on a lamp on the restaurant table. Henry notices that the girl is confused and tries to find out the reasons. As she tries to change the table, she attributes it to her fear of heights. After all, they are sitting right next to a panoramic window on the top floor of a high-rise building. The waiter finds another table for them in the center of the room, but immediately a message from the perpetrator arrives, saying that they can't change a table. The woman looks around and realizes that there are many surveillance cameras observing the room, and therefore her. The criminal informs her that as soon as her date is over, Toby will be killed that minute. He orders the theft of a memory card from the camera of Henry, who works as a photographer and takes pictures of important political events. A desperate Violett hides her watch in her purse and lies that she lost it somewhere in the restaurant. Henry goes to the hostess to see if the watch has been found in the room. Meanwhile, Violett steals the memory card. She goes to the bathroom, smashes the memory card with a heavy object, and flushes the shards down the toilet. Now the perpetrator asks her to find a vial of poison in the dispenser. She must pour it into Henry's drink. On her refusal to kill, the unknown caller reminds her that she has done this before, which means she can do it again. A frightened girl goes to the hostess stand and tries to call the emergency services herself. The ringback tone disappears immediately because someone has just cut the telephone wire. The woman looks at the CCTV tapes of the restaurant lounge. Her gaze stops on a man she has already encountered twice. Violett heads over to the alleged perpetrator and asks, in no uncertain terms, why is he here alone? The man replies that he is waiting for his sister, who is delayed at the airport. As he does so, he notes aloud that Henry is observing them right now and is clearly displeased. Violett can't get any answers and returns to the table. Henry is already paying the bill and is ready to leave. The man feels that the girl is too much worried about being separated from her son. He doesn't want the girl to stay with him, just out of politeness. Violett realizes that the date mustn't end, otherwise her son will be in danger. She tries to stop Henry in every way possible, apologizes convincingly, and asks him to stay, but he is adamant. Then the girl uses her last weapon and kisses him on the lips, convincing him of her sincerity. Only after that, the man agrees to continue the meeting. Now Violett needs to hold on and not give herself away. She inquires about the identity of the politician whom the man has photographed today, and shares the story of her abusive past. Violett's ex-husband was abusive, and the woman talks openly about it. Henry thanks her for her candor and feels close to Violett. Meanwhile, the woman doesn't give up hope of telling her problem to others. When she hears a familiar tune played by a pianist, she writes a request for help with lipstick on a banknote and gives it to the musician as a tip through the waiter. But the money goes straight into a special bowl, where the $20 gets lost among the impressive mass of other papers. The photographer leaves to make a call, and the girl's gaze becomes fixed on the pianist. The musician has just finished playing. He collects his tips and heads to the bar to buy another cocktail. The pianist notices an inscription on one of the notes, which makes the woman observe his actions even more closely. He makes a call on his mobile phone, looks around, and stares long and hard into the eyes of a tense Violett. Meanwhile, the waiters bring the couple their main dishes. The woman starts her duck salad and notices that her banknote, sent earlier to the musician, is neatly laid out on the plate under the sliced meat. And the phone shows a new message. It says that the girl herself is to blame for what happened, and a second later, the pianist falls to the floor with foam coming from his mouth. While Henry and the others try to help the poor man, Violett observes on the home cameras as the perpetrator beats Jen and locks the terrified child in the nursery. The pianist regains consciousness and goes away from the room, and the woman receives a message that her son will be the next victim. Violett offers Henry a shot to relax and start again. The man refuses at first, as he plans to work in the evening, but after a few minutes he agrees. The girl insists that she wishes to go to the bar and buy the drinks herself. After a brief discussion, she goes to get tequila, and Henry notices a watch in her fallen purse, which Violett says was lost. Standing at the bar, the girl takes out a vial of poison and is ready to pour it into the drink, but receives a message that she must be to do it at the table. Returning to her seat, she meets the disappointed face of a man holding out his watch to her. He reproaches the girl for lying and asks her to tell him why she has been behaving so strangely all evening. The partner offers to help if Violett will be honest. The memory takes the woman into the dark living room again, where her ex-husband threatened to shoot the baby. She confesses that she considers herself a bad mother because she didn't leave her abuser husband before Toby was born, and the baby saw the horror with his own eyes. Henry also shares a story about turning a blind eye to the bad deeds of a loved one for a long time. They feel that they both came to this date for some reason. After a moment of sincerity, the girl returns to the issue of drinking. She remembers that she forgot to take lime to tequila and asks her companion to go to the bar to get it. At this time, Violett decides to pour the contents of the vial into one of the shots. She notices that the man she has already encountered twice in the room, whom she had suspected earlier, has returned to the restaurant and is seated nearby. The barman informs Henry that she has already offered limes to his companion, but she refused. This again makes the man hesitate. He returns to the table. The moment the couple decides to have a drink, Violett drops her wine glass on purpose, preventing her partner from touching the contents of the shot. While the man cleans his suit, the girl resolutely gets up from her seat to approach the suspect. But at that moment, his long-awaited sister sits down to him. The barmaid tells Violett that the older man at the other table, who approached her earlier in the evening, is staring at her. The girl finally finds out who has been manipulating her all this time. She takes a seat at the criminal's table. The man is brash and self-confident, tells her that Henry is part of a spy game, and he's determined to destroy him by other people's hands. He brings to Violett's mind the death of her ex-husband, and accusations that will only confirm that the woman is capable of murder, especially since the poison in the vial is mixed with one of the common drugs that psychiatrists often prescribe to their patients. And surveillance footage captures the girl pouring something from a small vial into the tequila. The perpetrator convinces her that if she doesn't get her companion to drink a shot, she will lose her son. At the end of the conversation, the girl confidently holds out the drink to her returning friend, who after a short hesitation drinks it. Now the jubilant insolent can begin his meal. A delicate panna cotta awaits him. As he eats the dessert, Violett confesses that the shot was not poisoned. While the man's gaze was fixed on the photographer, she discreetly poisoned his dish. The enraged criminal pulls out a gun, but hits Henry instead of the woman. A struggle ensues, resulting in the shooter flying out the window and the woman hanging from the curtain at a great height. At the last minute, she is pulled out by wounded Henrys, and she rushes home to save her son. Jen has already recovered and does everything she can to save the child. She and Toby together try to fight the masked man, but the forces are too unequal. All the while, overtaking cars and driving along the streets, Violett looks at the screen of her mobile phone. A sister and her baby hide in the nursery, but the perpetrator sneaks in and shoots the sister. At this time, Violett runs into the house and a struggle ensues. At the last moment, a radio-controlled toy truck with a gun comes to the rescue. She hits the perpetrator and sees Toby alive. As time passes, we see a woman come to the hospital to visit the surviving Henry. She again receives a drop from a stranger, but this time it's only a silly joke from her sister. The pair agree to go on a second date, and Henry happily drinks the strawberry milkshake the girl has brought for him. And at that moment, the film ends. Thank you all for watching this video until the very end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in the next videos.